This file contains a visual record. It was initially classified as routine public surveillance. The recording window spanned multiple urban locations. Observation was continuous. No alerts were generated during capture. Automated systems reported nominal conditions. Pedestrian density fell within expected ranges. Traffic signals cycled normally. Environmental parameters remained stable. Individuals were present in all recorded frames. Movement patterns were consistent. No motion lag was detected. No spatial distortion was reported. At the time of ingestion, the footage did not meet any criteria for escalation. It entered the archive without restriction. The anomaly was not identified during initial review. Recognition occurred only during secondary analysis. Manual inspection was initiated. It followed a routine quality audit. During frame-by-frame review, facial data across multiple subjects failed to resolve. The failure did not present uniformly. In some instances, facial features appeared blurred. In others, the facial region was replaced by an undefined visual field. The affected area did not correspond to shadow. It did not correspond to glare. It did not correspond to obstruction. No masking artifacts were detected. No compression errors were identified. Signal fidelity remained within acceptable thresholds. The footage was retained for extended review. Subsequent analysis confirmed the anomaly across independent camera systems. Different manufacturers, different firmware versions, different signal paths, identical visual outcome. Additional verification cycles were initiated. Cross-comparison routines were repeated. Reference frames were reprocessed. Results remained consistent. No variance threshold was exceeded. The anomaly persisted without deviation. Temporal alignment between feeds was verified. No frame drift was observed. The anomaly remained stable within each frame. It did not migrate. It did not fluctuate. It did not degrade over time. Body recognition remained functional. Posture was identifiable. Gestures remained coherent. Locomotion was uninterrupted. Eye direction could not be confirmed. No subject displayed behavior consistent with visual impairment. No subject demonstrated awareness of facial absence. Public activity continued without disruption. No civilian reports were filed. No emergency calls referenced visual abnormalities. The consistency of these records could not be verified. Following confirmation, the archive initiated cross-referencing protocols. Historical footage from identical locations was retrieved. Adjacent time windows were reviewed. No comparable anomalies were identified in prior material. Facial recognition systems returned standard confidence values. This occurred despite absent facial data. No system errors were logged. No fault states were triggered. Manual tagging was initiated. Reviewers marked affected frames as incomplete. These tags were removed during subsequent review. No annotation explaining their removal was located. Internal correspondence references visual ambiguity. It was treated as a provisional label. No formal reclassification order was issued. The archive continued ingestion of new material. Not all subjects were affected in the same manner. In certain frames, facial features appeared partially reconstructed. In others, the facial region remained entirely undefined. The boundary between affected and unaffected subjects did not correlate with location. It did not correlate with time. It did not correlate with camera angle. Children and adults were equally represented. Uniformed personnel and civilians showed no divergence. No consistent exclusion pattern was identified. At least 2 internal interpretations of causality were noted during review. They were not entered into the record. No follow-up entry was authorized. No classification note was attached. No reason for omission was recorded. Review personnel reported increasing difficulty describing the footage during verbal briefings. Written summaries contained repeated revisions. Several versions were archived. Earlier drafts were superseded. No comparative rationale was retained. Terminology shifted between drafts. Specific descriptors were replaced by broader language. No directive mandated these changes. No procedural update was issued. A working hypothesis was briefly recorded. It was later removed. No record of its removal was preserved. The file status was downgraded without public notice. Access restrictions were applied to selected segments. The justification field was left blank. No external inquiry was authorized. Subsequent recordings from the same locations returned to nominal appearance. Facial data resolved normally. No transitional phase was documented. No explanation for the shift was recorded. The incident was not escalated. No evidence confirms that this anomaly was isolated. No record indicates whether similar footage was removed or retained elsewhere. Absence of record does not confirm absence of occurrence. This file remains accessible for reference purposes only. Further clarification is not authorized. Record retained.